Hey, did I scare you? Hey, welcome to the
No,
Fanatical Elfz
Not really.
Pregame show.
I'm easily
We-
frightened, John. Don't do
We
that.
are.
I'm an old man.
I know. I almost had a heart attack when I stopped the music. Rams against the Browns this afternoon at 4:25. Fox. I will have the sound down as I went on a rant last night because this stupid
Mute.
moron idiot, whatever his moron, the fumble Ruski guy, the butt fumble guy,
Butt fumble, Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez will be broadcasting the game for Fox. Why Fox is doing this to torture Cleveland Browns fans is, well, it's just that they want to torture us Browns fans. So we will have the mute button on, like
Thank
many
you.
of you else across the country. I hope all Browns fans. It's too bad we have to watch it visually and we have to give Fox, money. But hey, welcome to the show. We're talking the Browns, Rams, and lots to talk about. We have a new quarterback going in there, Shane Falco. Wait, I'm sorry, Joe Flacco.
No. I'll take Shane.
I know we all would. Welcome, all of you gentlemen. Samuel down there in Arlington, Texas, sporting his Texas Rangers.
I got my Cowboys shirt on too.
Oh, you
I'm repping all the Dallas sports.
I don't know if fans watching this today will be very happy about that, Samuel. But
Nah,
here
probably
we
not.
we got our Browns gear. Let's go around the room. Samuel, how you doing? How you doing today?
Good. It's fun. I'm waiting for the Browns game. I'm excited. I'm ready to see Joe Flacco, see what he has to do for this team. But I'm doing good. Weather's warmer now. I'm not freezing and dying every single time I walk outside. It's the nice time of the weather where the thing about Texas that sucks is we don't get trees that change color. They just die.
Yes.
They just fall off. They just no red, no yellow. It's just green and then dead. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, it's nice out here in Texas, and I'm excited for the game.
When I first moved out to Wichita, Kansas, I always talked about when I would describe the geography and the climate out there in Wichita. I'd always say, and here are the bushes of Kansas, not trees. I would never just like, you guys don't have like trees don't exist out in Texas or out west.
Yeah.
It just so well, I'm glad it's decent out there. We were just talking off air where you live. I mean, if you've ever been to, any of you who are listening, been to Dallas or that area, it's just such a ginormous region. So much to do down there. What? Ginormous? What did you say?
Ginormous. That's bigger than enormous.
It's big enough that JFK had to fly from one city to the other.
Oh my gosh! There you go. Now that's.
Of course, probably wasn't
hey,
necessary.
wow.
It's like a 20-minute flight. I don't even know if they were able to get to cruising altitude
My
before they had to
favorite-
start coming down. But
My favorite memory or least favorite memory of Dallas was when I went down there on one occasion with my daughter, and she was playing in an AAU basketball tournament because many of the big tournaments were down in Dallas. We'd make the 5-hour drive from Wichita, and we got stuck in just gods of traffic. And I remember we were just like sitting just like a big parking lot, and I was like, we can't do this any longer. We had been sitting for like an hour and a half crawling, and I remember we just got off and we ate at a Chili's restaurant, and like literally for another 2 hours, and just let the traffic, it would subside a little bit. It was just nuts.
yeah, traffic's bad in Dallas. We don't go to Dallas very often, but it was yeah, Dallas is fun. I've actually been to the spot where JFK was killed. There's actually where he was shot, they taped an X right on the road, so you can see exactly
Dealey
where he was
Plaza.
hit.
What is it called, Steve?
Dealey Plaza.
Dealey Plaza. Okay.
Little known fact: JFK was a Browns fan.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes.
That's actually kind of cool. I never knew that.
That is cool. How did you find that out, Steve? You're like you find all these little nuggets of information that are just,
it's like Henry Kissinger, Hank Aaron, James Brown, Elvis Presley, all Browns fans.
Really? All of them.
Yeah.
So speaking of
Yeah.
Browns fans, let's talk just for a second here. Paul Brown, the most famous Cleveland Brown of all time, he founded the Browns. There's another guy named Paul Brown who's from London, England, and we many of us here
A hell of a time out in LA.
having a hell of a time in LA. They had a big party last night out there, and he's
They closed the street down in LA for Browns fans.
no
Think about that.
wow.
Yeah, they had a street party. Closed it down.
That's pretty
Blocked
impressive.
it off. That's very impressive.
So they're all out there. I don't know where they're tailgating exactly. I think he sent out a map to all
Lot P.
Lot P, pink for
Yeah.
pink or something, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's
So-
a pink lot and then there's a Lot P. He sent out the graphic this morning.
I saw. Yes, I think I reposted it here on our
Yes, you
network.
did.
By the way, thank you again, all of you guys who are listening, following us along, watching us right now live. Download us on Apple, Spotify. Again, our downloads are continuing to. We're just exploding every month. We're getting 20, 30, 40% more downloads. So anyway, so we got a big game this afternoon, just in about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes from now. And the big news for the Browns coming into this game is that Joe Flacco is going to be suiting up the longtime Baltimore Ravens quarterback who was very successful against the Brownies, will now be playing for the Brownies and trying to beat the Los Angeles Rams. What are your initial thoughts on this move? Let's start with you, Steve, and then go down to you, Sam.
Well, I was a little apprehensive about this, but in the last couple of days, I've talked to people who know more about football than I do,
Really?
and
I can't imagine
they
that.
are all very confident about Joe Flacco and the team. I
Yeah.
was just kind of blown away. You know, I was thinking everybody would be kind of like a 15-year vet, hadn't practiced that much, wasn't in training camp, but they're all like, they'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
It's probably going to be about 70% Browns fans from what I'm hearing, might be more. So it's going to feel like a home game. Myles Garrett, no problems. I love that. Still a little apprehensive about Denzel Ward not playing. Kind of worries me, but they called up AJ Green. So I like that. Offensively, let's see what they can do. I mean, the Rams are middle of the road defense. They do have Aaron Donald, who everybody should pay attention to, and their inside defensive line is very good. But then that's the strength of the Browns, the guards and the centers. So I expect big days from Amari Cooper and Elijah Green, veteran wide receivers with a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, I think, and I'm anxious to see. I mentioned this the other night on Thursday with our other show, but like some people are reporting or getting out there on social media saying that will Kevin Stefanski let Joe air it out? I think they're gonna. I suspect, if I'm a betting man, that he'll at least give Joe one look early where he can let him go deep, just to see.
I think they're going to stick to the running game a little early and then
Okay.
develop the long passing game. Let him get a feel. Let him get a feel for the game. It's been a while since he's played.
Yes.
I mean, that's no kidding. He's only won 3 games in his last 17 starts. So
yes.
So I'd let him get a feel and see what happens. I'd love to see a few backside runs by Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
And let's just roll.
Sam, how you doing today? And again, what are your initial takes on Joe Flacco?
Yeah. I think Kevin will limit Joe Flacco just a little because that's what you do with a new quarterback most of the time.
Yep.
I think he'll limit him a little. I think he does trust Joe Flacco in the sense that he's a veteran. He's been playing for a while. He knows what he's doing. But I think he still will limit him because he hasn't learned the offense. Well, I mean, he hasn't learned it fully. And he also hasn't had a game time speed playing. He hasn't played in a game yet. But I think he will probably let him do his thing a little. I think the running game will be really crucial to keeping this game in control, running it, controlling the clock, things like that. But I think it'll be fun to see how Joe Flacco does with the Browns because, as you said, John, he's very good against the Browns, and now he's playing for us. So we'll see how he does against the Rams, who aren't the best of teams, but we'll see how he does.
2-0 versus the Rams.
Yeah.
Okay. I did
Joe
not know
Flacco,
that.
2-0.
Okay. Were those games played in Baltimore or in Los Angeles? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay. You know, and
I'm not sure where, but he was with the Ravens.
You were talking a little bit about the crowd being predominantly Cleveland. Hopefully,
It's
just
gonna be.
in our research and going through this and learning about the Browns, and I talked about this on our show or my show the other night. The Rams actually started in Cleveland, formed in 1936, 37. They won a championship in 45. Paul Brown was coming in with the Brownies, and Rams shipped out west, stayed there till 1995 when they went to St. Louis, and they stayed in St. Louis for a while. Now they've come back to Los Angeles. So they had a fan base, but when you talk to these folks out there in California, it has been a struggle to find a real secure group of folks, especially when you've moved, especially lately. So we'll see how that holds for the Browns. Hopefully that will, like you said, they closed down a street last night. So that suggests there's a lot of Browns fans, and hopefully that'll be a good thing going into this game. So besides Joe Flacco, and I guess, who will he target? Elijah Moore, he got to play with a little bit. Amari Cooper, who we've all seen have a great year. He got crushed in the ribs last week, but it sounds like he's going to, be out there and see him. I see Flacco using him because he's a veteran and knows a little bit about him probably. So those things all bode well. You mentioned Jerome Ford. Anybody else offensively that you think the Browns will be using? Is David Njoku going to get a lot of touches, you think, in this game?
Oh, yeah.
Steve, you're shaking your head. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He is the number
might.
1 yards after the catch for tight ends in the league right now.
Sam?
So I
think
less
Cedric
drop
Tillman might get
passes
some looks.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Tillman.
Hopefully.
Tillman.
yes.
I think Cedric Tillman's going to have a bigger role in this game, especially with Amari Cooper, who he is going to play, but I think he might be just a tad bit limited, making sure his ribs are all right. But if Amari walks up to Kevin's like, yeah, I'm 100%, I'll continue playing him. But I think Cedric Tillman will really do his thing this game.
See, this is where you wonder, like with somebody like a quarterback like Joe Flacco, who's been in the league forever, as a quarterback, will he prefer to, to try to look for Amari and Elijah Moore, or like you're suggesting, well, maybe those guys are getting covered up, then will Tillman, will he be comfortable as the quarterback going to a rookie like Tillman, who doesn't know the kid, much? Just curious to see how it all plays out. It'll be an interesting topic. Maybe we can talk about it at our post-game show to see how it all kind of panned out. Also anxious to see what kind of balance the Browns have on offense with runs and passes. It should probably balance out pretty good, I have a feeling, in this one, but obviously that will be another topic after the game. Where do you see that? Where do you think that, Sam? Let's start with you first. What do you think about the run pass balance, and do you think it's going to be pretty balanced tonight, or what do you think?
I think it probably will be balanced, but if it's going to be situational football, I think if the Rams decide, hey, let's just not stop the run, let's just put 2 men in the box the whole game, then we're going to run the ball more than we're going to pass. But if they say, hey, let's put 9 of our defenders in the box, we're going to pass more. But I think it's more situational. I think it'll be balanced as possible, but I think depending on how the Rams react to certain things, I think it'll definitely be a more situational type of scenario.
Let me talk about. Steve, let's finish. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I agree with Samuel a little bit that I think the Rams are going to start out with a stacked box, daring the Browns to run because Flacco hadn't been in practice that much. So they're going to figure the Browns are going to try to run the ball. The Browns are still top 3 in rushing offense in the league, even to this point. So they're going to run the ball.
Mhm.
I want to see how much play action they use. Flacco is very good at that. So to do that, you got to be able to run the ball. So,
Yeah.
to sell the play action, you got to have a running game. So that's what I'm going to be looking for.
Matthew Stafford. Tell me what your expectation. What do you think is going to happen with him today, Steve? Let's go back to you, Matthew
A
Stafford.
veteran quarterback
I'm
can
nervous
make
about
any
yeah.
throw.
Mhm.
He gets rid of the ball real quick, even though
Mhm.
he's been sacked 20 times in 10 games. It's more or less not on his offensive line. None of the offensive linemen have given up more than 2 sacks.
Mhm.
So, it's been him holding onto the ball a little bit too much, but he gets
Mhm.
rid of it quickly. He
Mhm.
makes any throw. He's got great eyes. He can see the entire field. Jim Schwartz is going to have to really, really dial it up on coverage schemes. I'm going to be interested to see how much zone he plays to protect against Denzel Ward not being there. Greg Newsome is going to have to play better than he did against Denver. He gave those Denver wide receivers way too much cushion. And also safety, Juan Thornhill's back. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's see what Jim Schwartz does in coverage. He's like Russell Wilson. He's a veteran quarterback. You can't really surprise him with
Yes.
anything. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on the defensive line with the scheme. Like if he does something like he did with Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore game, lining people up like in an I formation as Jackson came to the line, and then spreading them out.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, he scares me. He
How
scares
about
me, and the running back Williams
yes?
scares me because he's just like Jalen Warren of the Steelers. And Jay, you know how I feel about him, John.
Right.
I hate that guy.
Sam, what do you think about Matthew Stafford? Are you nervous?
Yeah. A little, but I think the loss of Denzel Ward's going to be something that we're going to have to worry about because I said in my podcast that he's the best secondary player we have right now. And someone like, I mean, his replacement isn't terrible, but it's just him having him there. He locks down whoever he's covering, more or
Right.
less. Occasionally he gets messed up or lost. That's what happens sometimes because sometimes you play really good receivers. But I think especially with players like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua running their routes, and Cooper Kupp was Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago, and he's clearly pretty good. But I think it'll be interesting to see how we do. I think the secondary will have improved a little. Jim Schwartz, he's been studying this whole week. I bet he knows exactly what he's got to do to the best of his abilities, the best of his players' abilities to figure out exactly how to keep Matthew Stafford from having too good of a game.
Don't forget about Tutu Atwell as well, and Tyler Higbee,
Oh
the
yeah, both
tight
of them are
end.
pretty good.
Stafford is
The one weakness in the Browns secondary is they give up way too many yards to tight end. And Tyler Higbee had 2 touchdowns against Arizona last week. So that kind of scares me.
in 3 games. Stafford is 3-0 against the Browns historically. He has the only winning record against them. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers all have winning records against Stafford. He has 12 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions against Cleveland in his lifetime. He has a quarterback rating of 107. He's only been sacked 7 times. So I mean, there's just a lot. His average game is 306 yards against the Brownies, and in the 3 games, which is pretty good. He has 900 and some yards, total in those 3 games, obviously, based on those averages.
Yikes.
So yards per gain is 10 yards. It looks like, yep. So
John, you're telling me we might have a chance?
Well, I just one of the, and I think going into this game, I mean, we should be as a fan and knowing what we've seen so far for the Browns. I mean, this is a very winnable game. very winnable game. And any game you go into like this, like even last week against Denver, that game was right there for the taking still, even last week against the Broncos. The final score was 29-12, which seems like it
Beginning
was
of the fourth quarter.
stretch, but it was 17. It was 14-12. They got up 17-12. The Browns got the ball back. They were driving. There were just some mistakes there, and then we just couldn't get it back. So again, I think this is going to be similar. I definitely think we've got to get off to a much better start than we have like last week in the game up in Seattle. But let's talk about that, what they got to do, some of the keys to the game. We're going to pause for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. How do you like those commercials?
Great commercials.
Did you want to buy all those things that they were trying to get you to buy, all those products? Yeah.
A little.
Already did on my phone while we were in commercial.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Let's talk about
all the products.
Let's talk about the keys to the game. Samuel, let's start with you. What are some of the keys? What are one or two specific keys that you think for the Browns to pull this game out?
Don't fumble the ball 3 times. I think ball protection, ball security, keeping no needless turnovers, stuff like that. No triple reverses unless you actually are good at them. But I think it's going to be limiting turnovers, and then I think it's going to be not playing football where you're acting like you're down 21 points when you're down 3. Playing a football where situational football, if you're down 3, you maybe play with a little pace, but if you're up 3, maybe you chew the clock a little, maybe stuff like that. Just making sure that in the moment you have the proper game plan for that moment.
It's your coach. I think, Samuel, you have a career as a coach. Just
yeah,
by analysis.
I play a lot of Madden, so I always pretend whenever I see coaches that do terrible time management, I'm like, man, if only they had me over there, I would have perfectly done it.
That's fantastic. All right, so let's come back up to you, Steven. A key to the game.
Several. I agree with Samuel. No turnovers. The Rams have only forced 9 turnovers, which is the league worst. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Stop them, the run on early downs, force them into passing downs.
Mm-hmm.
And on offense, they've got to be in 2nd and 3, 3rd and 2, those kind of situations. That's it. And time management, control the clock, keep Matt Stafford on the bench.
Most of these games this season, the Browns have pretty much managed that time. I mean, even
they're top 5.
At least even last week it was very close. I think maybe Denver had a little bit more time in that game, but I think
they did, which was surprising.
The Browns had more plays they called in that game. Actually, because
from that last game, from when it went 14-0 to the time DTR got hurt,
yes,
the Browns dominated.
Oh yeah,
I mean in between that period,
they
were the better team.
That third quarter drive, the Browns went, I think, 12 or 13 plays.
Yep,
chalked up about 7 or 8 minutes of clock, and
that's
so I
definitely
and Flacco. Well, sorry. I did that one on purpose.
Oh, sure you did.
I want to see Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman take the field today.
I want to see I don't want to see the kicker. I like our kicker, but I like the kicker in the replacement.
The kicker. It was such a classic. Well, there was another old movie called Notting Hill that came out right before the replacements, and that guy and I don't know the actor's name, but he was in that movie as well. That starred Julia Roberts and who's the other British actor? Hugh Grant. No, Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant. Yeah. So all right. Let's talk predictions before we leave tonight. Steve, let's start with you. I know you don't like to give these. How do you, if you don't want to give me a prediction, give me how you see this game playing out, or how you'd like to see it play out.
1-0. No,
Right.
I think if the Browns can get a lead, game over.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Sam?
Yeah, I think prediction, the Browns just need to be careful. I think they can't let this Rams team get hot, because this Rams team isn't great, but when they get hot, when they get into a rhythm, they're really good. And they can really make it tough on you. And I think if they do start out, I think they need to figure themselves out quickly, because it feels like in the first quarter of games, they're still trying to work out how they're supposed to beat this team, which does make sense, but they take forever. And during that time, they take forever. They let up a lot of points and stuff, and they make a lot of mistakes. So I think they got to start figuring out what team they are playing against, how they work really quickly. Otherwise, this Rams team might be able to just burn you if you're not careful.
Yeah, because
Sam
that's
makes a great point.
That very
Sam
good
makes
point.
a great point. There is no margin for error in this game. He's exactly right.
Yeah. No, it's a big game for both teams. The Rams are coming into this game. They're 5-6, but they are right there in this playoff race in the NFC.
Because the NFC West
so weak. Yeah. So I mean, it's a big game. They've been winning some games now. They're coming off of a win against the Cardinals. Any updates on that? Cardinals?
It's still 10-3 Cardinals in Pittsburgh. They're in some kind of weather delay.
Oh, weather delay
over in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, we just had some rain here. Well, we had some rain and thunder here in Columbus, so it might have gone through there at this point. So, okay, well, folks, we're going to have a post-game show, rain or shine, win or loss. We will be bringing that to you. Some of us will be back. Maybe all of us will be back. We'll see how we're all feeling emotionally. We may be emotionally spent, but I believe the Village Elliott will be coming on that too. So we'll be bringing that probably about 8:30 or 9 Eastern, which would be about 7:30 or 8 Central Time, which would be where Samuel and Steve both live. So look forward to that. And we'll be bringing all of the shows again. Samuel brings his Browns breakdowns a couple times during the week, which are just great information there. And Steve brings his Dog Pound South show Mondays. Awesome. Gets those nuggets of information that we don't hear very often from Browns fans. And, I see Browns fans every day. I saw one today. I went to the bowling alley earlier today, and the guy behind the counter is a big Browns fan. So I said, hey, we've got this Fanatical Elfz network. And he says, oh, can you write the name down? And so I wrote it down from an old guy, and I gave it to him. And I said, yeah, just, type in Cleveland Browns when you go to Apple or Spotify, and bam, our podcast pops up. Download it, follow us, and you'll never miss a show. Thanks for watching us here on the X, on YouTube, on Facebook. We love you. We love you, Browns fans. Spread the love, and go Browns this afternoon. Woof, woof.
Real quick update.
Yes.
Pittsburgh game will restart at 3:20 Eastern time.
Well, I won't be watching.
So another 6 minutes, and they're still losing.
All right, Sam, take care. See you, Steve. Have a great night, everybody. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
I can't do this to my shirt. I don't have a shirt on.